This meeting is now called to order. This is the annual reorganization meeting of the Gettysburg Area School District Board of School Directors. Item 2.0, roll call. The holdover members of the board are Mr. Kenneth R. Hassinger, Mr. James A. Henderson, Mrs. Catherine H. Hewitt, Mr. William D. Hewitt, Dr. Alan E. Moyer, Ms. Kathleen A. Pratt, Dr. Carrie A. Soliday, Mr. Carlos E. Wampler, Mr. Michael L. Williams. Will the recording secretary please note the roll? Item 3.1, election of a temporary president. From the holdover membership, we must elect a temporary president whose term shall exist only until the president is elected later in the agenda. Nominations are now in order for the office of temporary president of this meeting. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Jim Henderson.
One second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, a motion to close nominations and direct the Assistant Secretary to cast a unanimous ballot for the nominee is in order. All those in favor of the motion shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Mr. Henderson is declared elected to be temporary president.
Congratulations,
Most of us have all been there.
Nominations are now in order for the office of board president. Do I hear any nominations?
I nominate Kathy Hewitt. I nominate Carlos Wampler.
Do I hear a second to either of the nominations?
I don't think they're required to have seconds,
Okay.
but Tom, you're the board
From
secretary.
the peanut gallery, you don't need a second for a nomination.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter Ballard.
Who is that?
Are there any other nominations? If none, do I hear a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of closing the nominations, say aye.
Aye.
We now have two candidates for the office of board president, Kathy Hewitt and Carlos Wampler. How do you want to do that? Secret ballot?
It says right there. Just keep
We
reading.
will now have a roll call vote for the office of board president. Please state the name of the candidate for whom you are voting. Okay. Ken?
Kathy Hewitt.
Kathy?
Kathy Hewitt.
Bill?
Kathy Hewitt.
Alan?
Carlos Wampler.
Kathleen?
Carlos Wampler.
Carrie?
Carlos Wampler.
Carlos?
Carlos Wampler.
Mike?
Carlos Wampler.
And I vote for Carlos Wampler. Mr. Carlos Wampler is declared elected to the board president by majority vote.
Congratulations.
You get to get your seat. Okay. Now, on to elect the vice president. Nominations are now in order for the office of board vice president. Do I hear any nominations?
Kathleen Hewitt.
I nominate Carrie Soliday.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I nominate Carrie Soliday.
Are there any other nominations? There are no more nominations. A motion to close nominations is now in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion to close nominations for the nominees shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. We will now have a roll call vote for the office of Board Vice President. Please state the name of the candidate for whom you are voting. This is a roll call. Ken,
Kathy Hewitt.
Jim,
Terry Soliday.
Kathy,
Kathy Hewitt.
Bill,
Kathy Hewitt.
Alan,
Carrie Soliday.
Kathleen,
Carrie Soliday.
Carrie,
Carrie Soliday.
Mike,
Terry Soliday.
and I vote for Carrie Soliday. Carrie Soliday is declared elected to be Board Vice President by majority vote. All right, moving on to item 5, Solicitor. The board discuss and take action on a request to appoint Robert L. McQuaid and Farley Snyder as Solicitor for the Gettysburg Area School District for the calendar year 2019. His fee will be $170 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? No, it doesn't need discussion, sorry. Wrong thing.
I was gonna ask if you need an assistant.
Well, done. Okay. Jim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Newspaper adoption. That the board discuss and take action on a request to adopt a newspaper of record for the Gettysburg Area School District. Do I hear a,
Mr. President, I propose that we adopt the Gettysburg Times as our newspaper of record.
I'll second that.
all right? Is there any other, we're good? Okay, here we go. Kathy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Monthly meetings approval, item 7.1. Board discuss and take action on a request to establish the dates, times, and place for the 2019 monthly public board meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Okay?
Just a quick point of clarification, these are still primarily Monday meetings, am I right?
Yes, if you look down the list, the asterisk indicates Tuesday meetings.
Right.
That's because of holidays and school's not in session, okay? And also you'll notice that the December 17th meeting is a public board workshop and not a business meeting.
And also, Al, we only have one meeting in July.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. The December 17th meeting, do we accept public comment at that meeting? Or no, because it's a workshop?
Leave it a workshop. We do not, we don't have to, we could.
Yes.
Okay. So we could accept public comment.
Over any general item? Or does it have to be related to the workshop issue?
I believe it has to be related to the workshop item, or could any,
I
help me
think
out?
that would be within the discretion of the chair
Okay,
at the meeting.
okay, okay. So I would have, the chair would have discretion on what would be accepted to be said publicly, okay?
I've had a community member inquire of me, so I'd like to be able to give that person an answer. If that person should come on the 17th or January 7th to offer public comment on something not related to the workshop.
Okay, I'm gonna, to the board, does the board have any objection to having, public comment, even if it might not be related to what we're going to be discussing?
I think that's probably
Which is the
the
order.
appropriate time, because we limit any public comment and debate whenever somebody comes in and talks to us on any monthly meeting, so we're doing a workshop. I don't know that we want to restrict somebody from having to be able to come in here and ask us a question and expect an honest, truthful answer from us. Not that we wouldn't give that, but yeah, we're gonna take the time to come in, we should be able to or at least correspond to a degree with them. If you want to set limits on them, we direct them to the appropriate administrator. Yeah, exactly. But they may be asking our position on something and outside of redirecting them somewhere.
suggesting that that would happen, before we get into the content of the public workshop?
Well, I think you almost have to leave the door open, because the idea of having a public workshop may trigger somebody's trigger question related to what we're talking about. So I think you have to be a game time decision made by Carlos, I assume.
Any other comments, questions?
So then does it make sense that prior to the workshop beginning, we would be open for public comment as we would with any regularly
Right.
scheduled meeting?
Citizens' participation, okay.
Okay.
Like I said, if there's, as long as I hear no objections, then it will proceed that manner.
But the only difference is we would be able to engage in a dialogue different than what we've adopted during our regular meeting.
I'm not sure that would happen. Just, yeah, I think it's still public comment.
It's certainly not required.
And that's my point, it's just my viewpoint. If they're gonna take the time to come in and pose a question and ask the board what their opinion is, or what their thing is, if it's a question within the realm that we're able to answer, without having to redirect them, then why would we do that? I mean, in all likelihood, it's a redirected question, so I'm giving you a hypothetical. But if it's something that we can comment on, why would we restrict ourselves on it? We're asking the public, it's a public workshop.
There are times when citizen participation, the person sharing is giving one part of a bigger picture, so then it's difficult to have that comment, and there may be other moving parts that we're not aware of, and so waiting to gather more info before we respond, or using, that process of to the proper channel. Think about some of the citizen participation we've had even in the last few months. There may be more than just what's presented in that moment.
I would agree, I was just saying, let's not tie our hands here and leave it as a game time decision.
I would agree there. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, Bill?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
Voting on the calendar.
Yes.
Yeah, the calendar. Oh, we lost track of what, I'm sorry, item 7.1. Mike?
Yes.
Mark?
Ken?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 8.1, the board discuss and take action on a request to agree to follow the state and federal laws, regulations, and standards, Gettysburg Area School District contracts, and Gettysburg Area School District policy manual.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm just surprised we need an action on this. Isn't it a given?
It's just historically.
Yes,
It's been
say historic.
Historically,
Never seen that before.
I'm not even sure where it came from.
It's what we
Always
do.
do it.
Follow the law.
Yeah, so maybe it's setting norms. It's just setting the norms for our meetings.
So, Alex, always been an item as long as I've
Gotcha.
come to board meetings.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
I think it's a good reminder that we are governed by laws and not rogue.
Okay. All right, Al?
Yes.
And we're voting on the 8.1 now. Kathleen?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 9.1 PSBA legislative selection, that the board discuss and take action on a request to select a PSBA legislative chairperson for the 2019 year.
Mr. President, I nominate Mr. Jim Henderson.
Mr. Henderson, do you want to accept that?
I would rather someone else take it if there's someone else, because it's my last year coming up, and it would be an opportunity for someone who's not been involved with the board that much. If there is no other, then I will take it.
Are there any other nominations? Any takers?
Could you share a little bit about what are the responsibilities there for the most part? That might be helpful.
For the most part, there are one or two meetings that are called at the school board association level up in Harrisburg or expert, whatever you wanna call it. And, you attend those and participate in those. And the other is that there's opportunities at the annual seminar.
The Day on the Hill, is that part of that also?
Pardon?
The Day on the Hill, is that also
The
part of
Day on the
it?
Hill is part of the thing, yes. The liaisons usually try to get there for the Day on the Hill.
Thank you. Well, are there any other nominations? Anybody else that would be interested in doing it? Is it my understanding that, do we have to have a liaison? Legally, do we,
I'll step up.
every board have to have?
I'll step up. He's showing.
Pardon?
I don't think so.
That's what I was wondering. I don't wanna put, if Jim really doesn't wanna do it.
I don't think we're obligated.
That's my question is,
Point somebody to that.
yeah,
You know, when we get to, the October delegate
Yeah.
assembly, we will nominate and approve delegates,
yes.
but I don't think we formally have to have a liaison.
Yeah,
It's
this is-
just Jim has done it for so long. It's another thing that's on the agenda for this meeting. I don't think it's always been on the agenda for this meeting.
May I wonder what the benefit is for our district and board to have a liaison?
There are one or two calls for a regional meeting and you get called to that.
Also opening lines of communication, sometimes between what happens with PSBA and our legislators. That Day on the Hill, is more for what's happening at the Capitol, but there are other legislators that need to, perhaps be informed about how proposed laws may impact the school district so that they, can see from the trenches what decisions might make. I'd like to nominate Mr. Kenny Hassinger, for the legislative chairperson.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Then we'll call vote.
Do you want me to withdraw? Do you want me to withdraw?
Are you withdrawing?
No. I'd rather Ken Hansen to do it.
Okay.
So
Misunderstood. You withdrawing?
then
I'll withdraw.
withdraw my nomination. Of you, sir.
Yes,
And since we have another
that makes it easy.
victim.
Yeah.
Another victim. All right, Kathleen,
Yes?
Carrie,
Yes?
Mike,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Ken, if you have any questions, just give me a holler.
Normally next year.
I believe that concludes the business for the reorganizational meeting, so we stand adjourned. But before I do that, I think does anybody need a short break before we proceed into the regular business meeting? All right, hearing nothing from any of the board members, this meeting stands adjourned. All right. I call to order this meeting of the Gettysburg Area Board of School Directors on this Monday, December 3rd, 2018. Purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. Public comment is welcome and issues will be referred to the appropriate board committee or administrator. Please know that issues will not be debated in this public meeting. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be available by contacting the business office. This time, please take a moment to silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Mrs. Collins, roll call, all board members are present. We all would please rise.
And prior to the Pledge of Allegiance, if we could just have a few moments of silence for the passing of the 41st President of the United States, George W. H. Bush, his family, and this great nation that he served.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I think by now they know who I am.
You gotta know who you are.
Oh, I guess.
Can't be having identity.
Try not to. All right, first thing we have to do is accept the minutes of November 5th and the 19th. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions that need to be made prior to approval? All right, hearing none, I have a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right, minutes are approved. Any notices and communications? All right, hearing none. Citizens participation part?
No, sir.
Burnett? No one tonight? Next, we have board committee reports.
Mr. President, on behalf of our board, I attended the VITA Governance Committee meeting on November 20th, where they continue to interview potential board members and work on policies. So it's sort of assumed their policy role there. So I get 2 doses of policy every month. Speaking of which, our next policy committee meeting is December 11th.
December 11th.
Do you like that?
That was slick.
That's smooth.
I didn't plan that. It just-
And again, on behalf of the board, appreciate you attending the VITA School Board of Governors. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Governance.
Governance
Committee.
Committee, that's what it's called. Thank you. Appreciate you doing that. Any other reports?
We have finance, buildings and grounds. Item 17.1 is this year's portion of the capital projects fund. I wanted to thank Mr. Crosby and Mr. Fortnum, Mr. Hunt, and I'm sure a lot of members of their staffs to put that together, but as you can see, it was a very comprehensive report, and the committee passed this year's submission unanimously. We recommend approval for 17.1.
And Vera Bruce report for the Communications Committee. We meet next on January 23rd.
I'd like to report on the IU. As you know, I represent the IU. I sit on their board representing Gettysburg, Upper Adams, and Fairfield. The last meeting, the proposed general operating budget for 2019-2020 was presented for review to the board and will be presented for adoption in January. The amount that's paid in by the districts that are served by the IU will remain the same. However, Gettysburg will see probably a slight increase due to the formula that they use. I think it's less than $50, but I think there was a slight increase. Again, it's a formula they use based on enrollments and bottoms and all that kind of stuff. So just want you to be aware that that's coming up, and so sometime beginning of next year, we will be asked to vote on that operating budget. So if you need any answers to any detailed things, I have the actual printout of the budget, and I can share with you if you need details. One item that they did pass has to do with the substitute pay. The IU is in a serious crisis when it comes to subs. They're having a hard time filling their special classes. Most subs are signing up for the regular districts, taking regular classes over the classes that the IU offer. As the human resource officer, or human resource person announced that they don't like to go in and get bit, and so on from the kids. So that they had to raise, what we did is we raised the fee, substitute pay. Full-time subs and sub-teachers working 20-plus days in one assignment will increase from $130 to $150 a day. Sub-paras, paraprofessionals working 20 or plus days in one assignment will go from $75 to $95. Sub-teachers working 14 to 19 days per month in various assignments will increase from 105 to 135 a day, and sub-paras working 14 to 19 days per month in various assignments from 75 to 95. If a sub or para works less than 14 days per month, it will remain at $130, and paras will remain at $75. So that is going to have some impact on the billings that come into the various serving districts, because that's how they bill you based on the cost of the teacher, so on. So just want the board to be aware that that has happened. And it may down the road and have some impact on what we pay ourselves, because it will have some impact. Also, just to let you know that the board gave consensus, the board president and solicitor, to extend an offer of employment to Dr. West to be the next executive director of the IU. Okay, for all intents and purposes, I think he gave a general okay, so they're working out the details, and that'll be eventually voted on beginning of next year. So they will be getting the IU will be getting a new director hopefully soon. Okay, that's my report from the IU. So again, if anybody has questions, please see me later. All right, building program information, Dr. Perrin.
Good evening. This week we look forward to working with EduPlanet. We worked with this school year, English in high school and science at the middle school, with their curriculum builder tool. And we are looking at expanding the usage for elementary STEM integrated units. And we have a meeting with them on Thursday of this week. And much of our time at this point is preparing for the administration of our Keystones on return of our winter break, and PSSAs as well. So we're using some of the time before the break to train teachers on the necessary assessment administration guidelines for that. Thank you.
Towards the end of last week, Carlos and I signed off on the district comprehensive plan that the board approved earlier on previous board meeting, and that remains on the website. That was an update to the previous plan. This Wednesday, December 5th, just as a reminder, we're doing a parent engagement night at Gettysburg Area Middle School. That begins at 7 o'clock, light refreshments prior, and childcare is being provided during the event for parents who require that in order to attend. Office of the Attorney General will be doing a presentation on social media 101, and as of the end of the day Friday, I think we had about 50 or so folks registered for that, or it indicated they'd be showing up for that.
It's almost 60 now, yeah.
Okay, so we're closer to 60, and hopefully folks will find it beneficial, and we can continue to offer those types of programs, in the future, just as information that can be useful to parents, because they're our most important partner in the child's education as the kids navigate through each one of our classrooms and schools. December, we embark on performance and concert season in a lot of the schools, so best wishes to all of those student groups. They always do a fantastic job, and their advisors and teachers, and it's a great way to bring in the holiday season. And just as a reminder to board members, in Friday's update, I sent a link to a doodle poll to check availability on a couple of dates for working with IDET. So if you haven't got a chance to identify those dates, please do so as soon as you're able, and then I can confirm the date with IDET for the future. Thank you.
Jason, just as a side note, I'm not sure who put together that program you're about to roll out, but whoever it is should be commended. I mean, such a social, community, school issue with the phones in the school, and outside of that, and bullying and that. That's really impressive to give back to the community that opportunity. You don't see that very often. And if it affects or it helps one person, we've been successful. I would hope that the Times, I'm sitting here today, would put a little highlight in there and encourage the people to attend that.
You know, Andrew and John Lewis have been put in contact with the Attorney General's office, and we hope that it's something that's beneficial, and we can continue to offer these types of events during the year.
You know, I don't see how it isn't. It has such a wide range of impact outside of the classroom that we're giving back to the community.
That changes every 30 days is different.
Yeah, I think you might want to talk to the school administrators. They'll tell you it's more than every 30 days.
That's right.
My last year at South Middleton, we had the same group in on the same topic, and it was outstanding. I wish there was a way that we could mandate it for everybody. It really is something that all the parents should hear.
Yeah.
And kids, for that matter.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay. Item 9, personnel. Item 9.12 and including item 9.4.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none. Call the vote. Carrie?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Looks like our next item is business finance. Item 17.1, the capital improvement program that Bill mentioned during committee reports.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President, I'd just like to thank Wayne and for all his efforts over the past several years, because when some of us who have been on the board a while came on the board, there was no plan. There was, you know, some projects ongoing, and it wasn't organized, and there really wasn't a plan. And now we have a plan that we're in the process of then adjusting and updating annually. And, you know, that's a wonderful thing. So, thank you, Wayne and Tom and whoever else needs kudos for putting the plan together and then maintaining the plan, because it was needed and it's very important.
I'd also like to thank you for creating a document that was a delight to read. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to look at it, I got through this, but I'm going to look at you. It really was. I really appreciated the project summaries, the project detail sheets, and I also really liked seeing the capital asset profiles by school. So again, thank you.
You're welcome.
If I can add to the compliments, the graphics really help us see what you see when you pair those with the narrative, so we understand the need better. Very well organized, and it's wonderful also to put the human element in through the pictures with the children who are using the facilities and our staff. So thank you again for pulling that together.
Any other comments? No discussion? All right. Mike?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
And I vote yes. There's no other business this time. Is there any other information items that need to be brought before the board? All right, hearing none. Oh, yes, go ahead. Bill?
Liberty order for reasons that most of the board members should know about. Go ahead and pass that to Tom. I'll go ahead and resign in effect of the meeting. We need to thank everyone for that.
Well, thank you for your service, Bill.
Oh, Carlos.
Okay, our next meeting is Monday, December 17th. It is a workshop.
Carlos, I got something.
Yes?
I also resigned.
Well, I want to thank you for your service, Kathleen. Oh, Kathy. Hey, is there anything else?
Carlos, just one more thing. I'm not resigning, but I do want to thank you, Carrie, and all the members that are chairpersons of committees. In December, I think it's a time of reflection, and by law, we reorganize and restructure and whatnot. I think Gettysburg School District over this past year has had an extremely successful year despite a lot of key leadership roles changing with our administration and so on. And I think when things are going really well and so on, I just think it's really important that we have stability of leadership. And I want to personally thank you and Carrie for serving as our board officers and those people that are in chair roles with committees. Thank you for all your extra efforts to help us have a great team here from the board all the way through the staff. Thank you.
And if I might, with the presentation of the resignations, for various reasons, it is better form for this board to act on those resignations in one way or another. When I say to act on them, to, at some point, to accept the resignations. Until the board accepts the resignations, they can be withdrawn. And I'm not suggesting that you act on it now, but at some point you can do it now, but you could do it at another meeting as well. Just simply tell you the law.
Thank you.
I'd like to propose that we act on those resignations.
I second that.
There's been a motion on the floor for the board to accept the resignations of Mr. Hewitt and Mrs. Hewitt. Discussion or comments?
If you want to give an explanation. I'm not owed it, just curious. I mean, I know we're sitting on the board and I know it's supposed to be some structured event, but you can't take the human element out of this. I'm not sure, no, I didn't see this. And it does make a difference on this board, each and every member, so.
I'm unclear of Mr. Hewitt's reason when he said that all of you should know. I do not know. But I will say that I respect our colleagues acting out of their own free will. Sure. And I think toward that respect I have for them, I do propose that we accept the resignation.
Wouldn't make a difference to me who was. I don't know that we need to act on it this evening, but I'm only one person here.
Okay, there's been a motion on the floor. I guess we have to act on that motion. So I guess I'd call the vote. Is that correct? Okay. Ken?
No.
Jim?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Carrie?
Respectfully, yes.
And I vote no. I believe the motion carries with majority. But I just want Mike, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. Okay, so that is majority. The resignations have been accepted, regretfully. Is there anything else brought before the board tonight? Okay, stands adjourned.